If you've ever created a dashboard in Excel, you've probably added data validation filters to your dashboard. In this dashboard we have here, we have three filters. We have region, country, and state. So on each one we have choices, and when we choose here on the left, all of our choices kind of stay the same. They're all static. So if we choose North America and we choose Mexico and we go down to Chihuahua, all of these lists stay the same with all of the states and countries and regions. So this allows for errors if a user selects a state that is not in a country or a country that's not in a region. It's very static. So we're going to take this static data validation and we're going to make it dynamic so that each time you choose a selection, the remaining selections will filter down to only the countries and states that are within each one of the regions and each state that's in the country. So let's take a look at how to do that. Starting from scratch here, just have our blank summary page and blank controls page and a data page. So let's take a look at the data. We have three kind of identifying columns: region, country, and state, along with date, and then two metrics: sales quantity and gross sales. In our region, we have three regions. We have 9 countries, 3 countries for each region, and then 3 countries for each, 3 states for each country, so 27 states there. Let's jump over to the controls tab, and let's go ahead and get started with getting a unique list of the region, country, and states. So we're going to start off with the unique function. We're going to go over here to data and we're going to select that whole column there. That's control spacebar to select the whole column. And we are going to go grab the country. And we're going to go grab the state. Now that we have these dynamic arrays spilling out, we can connect our data validation to them. We're going to go over here to the data tab and go over to data validation. We're going to allow list, and we are going to go choose our list here on the controls tab. You'll notice that when you select a dynamic array, we do not get the right syntax for the dynamic array. This is just choosing A1 through A3. So if this list expands or contracts, it won't follow that list. So I'm going to delete out that A3 and I'm going to put in the hashtag, which is telling Excel this is the dynamic array that starts in A1. So if this list ever expands, it'll expand with it. That seems to be working. We're going to do the same for country. We're going to go over here. I'm just going to select there and hit hashtag. And same thing for state. Hashtag. Perfect. Great, those are looking good. You probably noticed on that first video, we also had a choice for star. So we are going to get that choice in here. We're just going to use HStack to combine star with each one of these formulas here. I'm going to copy all that. Oh, excuse me, VStack. We're going to use VStack here to combine star with each one of these dynamic arrays. So using that VStack will just take that star character and it will stack on all of those unique results from the formulas that we just made. So now looking back at this data validation, we have the star, and you can see the data validation actually jumped down the extra cell. So that seems to be working just fine. Now the next step we're going to want to do here, we're going to want to get a filter in on each one of these ranges, the region, the country, and the state, so that we're filtering based on the selections in the summary tab. So right here inside of the unique formula, we're going to start a filter formula. And we are going to take that region to start. I'm going to give us another line here by hitting Alt-Enter. And we are going to check the other 2 boxes there, the other 2 cells on the main page. I'm going to start this off with an if. There's a little bit of a caveat in creating these data validations. We have to use an if formula to say if that cell equals star, then give us 1, which means don't filter anything. Otherwise, we will actually do filtering. So here I'm selecting this region cell. I'm going to come back to the data tab, select that region, and say that region equals that first cell. Perfect. This will make a little bit more sense once we fill it in. I'm going to give that a times. So this is kind of us setting up a multi-conditional filter function here. I'm just going to throw 3 lines in there, and I'm going to increment each one of the cells. This cell 3 was referring to country here in this table, so I'm going to change that. And then the 4th cell there on the summary was referring to state, so I'm going to change that to state. Now, I did fill this in for one more criteria than necessary, and it'll actually cause kind of a circular reference right now. First, I'm going to jump back to this summary tab, and I'm going to select stars for everything so that we get some results here. But what we have here is a filter on region for each one of the criteria that have been selected on the summary tab. So I'm just going to copy all of this, and I'm actually going to delete out this first line because this is kind of where the circular reference will come into play. We don't need to filter the region based on the region selection. We just have to filter that region based on the selection from country and state. So I just wrote it that way at first so that we could kind of have a framework to just copy and paste across here and do some replacing. Just makes it a little bit easier so we don't have to write it all each time. So I'm just going to paste it in, and we're changing this top line of what we're filtering, and then I'm deleting out that same line that it's referring to. Just delete out that star there. Perfect. And now we should be left with a result that is dependent on each one of our selections. So we're just going to go and test this. We'll choose Asia. We're going to see if we only get 3 countries. We do. If we look at our states, we should only get 9 states. So first 3 are from Japan, second 3 from China, and last 3 from Korea here. So if we choose Japan, we can see just the Japan states. So it all seems to be working correctly. Changing it back, and everything is now displayed. So that's how you go about dynamic data validation. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and please be sure to like and subscribe.